Well, good morning, guys. My name's Daniel. I am starting to build a permaculture project on my yard. This is what I did this spring, before I even learned about permaculture or really much about gardening at all. Built this raised bed. This side was just for flowers, but most of it was designed to be for a very close planted orchard, with a whole bunch of different trees I had in here. But I had some extra space, and I put in some flowers for my wife, so it looks pretty. And I grew some peppers in here and some kale. These are a couple of plum trees. I got an apium right here. This was an apricot. I think I overwatered it when it was in the pot, and it died. I stuck it in the ground hoping it would come back, but obviously it's quite dead. I got a couple peach trees here, 3 different varieties. They're doing great. And then I put in a couple cherry trees, and they didn't do so good. I'm not entirely sure why. I got 2 Montmorencies, a Jubileum, and I don't even remember what the other one was. These 2 here, this one, and that one there, the end of it, were transplanted from the backyard out here. I wanted to keep all the cherries together, but they didn't survive the transfer, and there's still a couple leaves left on this cherry. This is another Montmorency. It's barely hanging in there, so I'm hoping I can figure out what I did wrong with these guys and put a couple more in their places. Over on this leg, I put 6 different varieties of blueberries in. A couple of them from cuttings, that's why they're so small, but hopefully they'll take off. Right there in the middle was another transplant from the backyard. Since everything I transplanted this year didn't survive the transplant, and then I just picked up another variety to go in a spot here. What I'm doing up here is I had a split rail fence like this one over here. Had been up for a couple years. It rotted out and wasn't looking so good. So right along here I took it down, and I'm going to be putting up this fence. I don't know how well it's showing up on the camera here. There we go. Just a short fence. I'll be packing all my leaves here, all the leaf debris. I'll actually be picking up my neighbor's leaves and putting them here to compost. I'm going to be taking this concrete divider that's kind of sunk into the ground. I'll be taking that out, and then just kind of loading a foot or so of leaves all along here, neighbors' yards, any lawn clippings I have left for the rest of the year. It's into October now, so shouldn't be a whole lot. Need to finish putting the fence over on this side, and I'm going to do this all along just to kind of build the soil up. You can see there's some debris left from the rotten fence there as I took it down. But the goal is to put up a food hedge along the edge here, and kind of guide the deer that want to come across from my neighbor's yard. We're out in the woods in Atco. They come over and they want to nibble on my trees here. They did start to peck at some of my blueberries as well. But I'm hoping to build a food hedge of raspberries, blackberries, gooseberries, even some roses and stuff in here, kind of a couple different varieties all along from this side, obviously the opening for the road, the driveway, and then all along that side, to help bring in some extra food. I love berries, but also to kind of guide the deer around to the sides. And I'll be putting up motion activated alarms for deer repelling, and hopefully that'll keep the deer off my trees through the winter. So that's back here. Let me take you to the backyard. I'll show you what I'm planning on doing. Alright, so this is my backyard. I've already got a little garden going over here. I got some strawberries down here. What's left of some basil is going to seed. And then some tomatoes. They were all vining type. I set up this little trellis here. And they did okay this year. They needed a little bit more fertilization, but I'm learning as I go. Soil here's not very great, so I'm planning on building this up with some compost and some more wood chips over time. All the chips that are here now are from some trees I took down in the yard to make room for that raised bed in the front, and some trees I took down in the back here to kind of open up our yard. I fed them all through a chipper and used them back here as a wood chip mulch. Here are some hops that I was growing. I'm a home brewer. They have not done so well here. Just the location where I put them, they don't get enough sun or water, and they've never done good. I've had them for about 4 years. So I'll be ripping all these up. I'm getting rid of them. This year I didn't even trellis them up. I just kind of let them take over the ground. But my plan is to rip all this up here. Again, bring in some more leaf mulch from the neighbors' yards and all around. I just kind of try to add some more nutrient back into the soil, kind of build the soil back up. I plan to be putting some new trees, fruit trees back up here, and building a couple guilds. Here's an old gazebo that we've had and all our junk in there. But I plan on ripping this gazebo down, making this part of our food forest. I want to put an arboretum up, so like a pergola, and put some grapes in and kind of have them vine up the pergola. And then over here, that's my my busted canopy. I left it out and the rain built up in it and destroyed it. But over here is a very large pond. I just started putting in some new plants in here to help attract some more pollinators to the area. It's kind of overloaded with, let's see, get over top here. It's kind of overloaded with these lily pads. I got a bunch of goldfish and a couple koi in there. They're doing good. But I want to build up all around this this pond, kind of build into the culture. Back along the fence here, I put in some roses this year. That's right there is one of our climbing hydrangeas. I put 3 in, 2 of them kind of died off. This is the only one that survived, and this is the best it's done in the 3 years we've had them. They're not doing so well. But here I put in raspberries a couple years ago. They've been doing great. It's a heritage variety, and they just they're continuously putting out fruit most of the summer. Behind I have a blackberry back there. It did good. I took some cuttings this year. Hopefully I'll be growing a couple more, transplanting them out to the front. They put out a bunch of blackberries this year, but unfortunately the squirrels and the birds and whatever else in my yard got most of them. But they were delicious. And then here's some rosemary, bought at the store, put in the ground. This is over at ShopRite. They sell like roots and all, live rosemary with like 3 or 4 stalks in. This is 2 years of growth, and I've taken all the rosemary we've needed out of this for the whole summer for 2 years. And then right here is my current project. This is a food barrel. I did well last year. I cut the top off and sunk it down to the bottom to create a water reservoir, and cut all the holes in the side. Each one of those gets a small seedling of vegetables, mostly lettuces. I did it last year and it turned out amazing. didn't get to it this year until now. Now the weather's starting to cool down. I emptied it out. Going to be filling it back up with some of the composted potting soil that was in there before, and then a lot from my compost pile, just to kind of build the nutrients up. And I'll be planting that soon. Hopefully that'll take off again. Right here is the worm bin that I put in the middle of it, and fill it up with some earthworms and red wigglers, and they kind of feed the whole project as I go. And that's pretty much it. That's the first video. I'll be adding to it as I can, and as I get things done, and hopefully this will turn into something nice. Any advice from anybody or any ideas would be greatly appreciated. This is my little grape vine back there, climbing up the fence. Alright guys, take care.